Hi there, welcome to the Player YouTube channel, where we don't just do car reviews, we do tons of other stuff as well. You ready? Run the VT. This is how a car should sound. Listen to this.
I didn't really push it either. I was just having a bit of fun.
Oh really?
Wheel springs?
Outside, God, trust me, no. Here we go, we're going to meet the crew and hopefully get the same.
I think it makes a good work.
We're going, mate. Nice to see you.
Show us your big chopper, your helicopter. So here we are, the Morgan Roadster. Guys, guess what? It's another morning here out in sunny France. This is the new T Roc-R from Volkswagen, and it's nothing like a normal T-Roc, trust me. So this is the T Roc-R, and seriously, it isn't like a T-Roc, trust me. We reviewed the T-Roc a couple of years ago when it first came out. If you want to watch that video and see what we thought of the standard T-Roc, click up there now. However, if you want to watch what we think of the T Roc-R, stay tuned, as they say. So the T-Roc itself was launched back in 2017. It's very closely related to the Golf Mark 7. It was brought in to fit in between two of VW's other compact crossover SUVs, namely the Tiguan and the T-Cross, and it does fill that little gap very, very nicely indeed. In 2019, Volkswagen decided to slap an R badge on one of these cars, hence why we now have the T-Roc-R. R is basically Volkswagen's high performance division. It's their section, it's the sort of the sporting end of any of the cars that bears the R badge, like the Golf R for example. And that's where this car shares the same engine with the Golf R. It also gets a really lovely sports suspension setup, and at the same time, on top of all of that, you get all-wheel drive. But at the end of the day, this is a family runaround crossed with a hot hatch basically, and it's an extra £5,000 over the top trim level T-Roc. So, is it worth its money? Well, that's what we're here to find out today. So, let's crack on with it. I'm loving this, by the way. Right, let's check out under the bonnet of the T Roc-R, and you'll find the bonnet release catches down here in the driver's footwell. Don't forget guys, if you're driving a left-hand drive version of this, it's going to be in a passenger footwell. They're not going to swap it around. So, bonnet release catch itself dead centre there, just above the logo. Put your finger in, slide it to the left, give it a good lift. There's no gas struts with this. You will find a nice brightly coloured yellow, makes it pretty obvious for your bonnet strut there. Pop that in there. There's a bit of plastic on there because this bit here, when you've been driving this car for a while, this gets quite hot, so that's what that's for up there. Under the bonnet here, well, it is a very, very nice little unit, this. It's a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol unit. Develops just shy of 300 brake horsepower with 400 Newton meters of torque. The whole engine is looked after, I say looked after, is balanced by a beautiful 7-speed DSG auto gearbox. And that, in turn, will control all of this to give you 0 to 60 times of a tad just over 4 seconds, and a top speed limited to 155 miles an hour. So this is the new facelifted version of the T-Roc-R, and it's available in just one trim level. Prices start from 43,000 UK pounds, and with that you'll get standard 18-inch alloys, you'll get LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and finally an R-style pack which gives this car its unique front and rear bumpers as well as side sills. Plus, don't forget, you get that sports quad exhaust system. Inside the car you'll find a really smart leather steering wheel, there's some nice velour finished sport seats and a 10-inch high resolution infotainment screen. The T-Roc sits 20mm lower than a standard T-Roc, and it's available in 13 different colour combinations. However, solid grey is the only colour that comes as part of the price. All other colours are priced between £475 and £1,200 UK pounds. If you want to go for bigger rims, you can buy yourself some 19s, but they will cost you an extra £775. And finally, if you love your black bits, there's a black design pack with black roof rails and black trim all round for an extra £165. Let's check out around the back of the T-Roc-R. Initially you will see it does look a little bit different to your standard T-Roc. I quite like it actually, especially with those quad exhausts down the bottom here. Now the car does come with a sports exhaust system which has 4 pots at the back there which look really nice, but it doesn't sound as good as this Akrapovic or Akrapovic, however you want to pronounce it, £3,580 extra exhaust system. It does look nice and it does sound very nice, so we'll forgive it for that. You do get tinted privacy glass all the way around at the back here, and it's that lovely rear screen I've noticed on here, so you haven't got any of the rubbers on here. It's a really nice sort of pin sharp line that you get. It's all sort of a fluty screen, as I like to call it. You've got a wash wipe at the back, a nice bit of air at the top here with a brake light built in. We like that as well, keeps it clean and also makes it far more aerodynamic. As you move down, the only thing I think where they've messed up here, the boys at Volkswagen, is put the R badge right in the middle there underneath the VW badge. I think I might have moved it somewhere else. I've just done away with it completely, because do you really need to keep emphasising the R badge? You know, the R, well, you get my drift. But all in all, looking at the car, you've got these lovely LED lights around the side here. It really does look quite sporty and smart. I like it. Now, you know, with a VW, to open the boot, you just push that forward light, push the big button, and you can, yes, well, there you go. Do it properly. See, AJ never does it properly first time. You can pay extra and you can get that electronically assisted, but to be honest, it's almost a hatchback style. You don't need it. It's got some great gas struts on it, unless you're a little bit old and infirm? Yeah, I think that's the right word. Moving swiftly on. At least the audience appreciated that one, even if they are a couple of horses in the field. You do get parcel shelves. I hate them. I hate parcel shelves. I'm going to pop this one out because I don't hate them if you can put them underneath here. So we're going to check that in just a second. And the reason is that if you're out and about and you've got to get a bike in here, or you've got a couple of dogs, or you're just generally out and about, this is always going to be in the car, and inevitably, if you can't get it underneath and get rid of it, let's pop it out like that, it's going to be in the way. It's going to have to go onto the passenger's, laps, or it's just going to be in the way. It's a waste of time. Right, this pops up like that. It's got a couple of little things there that hold it up. Again, really nice. In this car, you can have the option of getting a spare wheel, a space saver in here. It's an extra £100. Buy it, because the stuff that this comes with, it comes with the latex, the stuff that you're supposed to put in your tyre when you get a puncture, and it's supposed to seal the hole, and then you pump it up using the little pump that they give you. I mean, they're worth keeping. They're handy for pumping up bike tyres and, inflatables and things like that. But to be honest, that actual latex stuff is useless. And once it's gone in the tyre, it ruins the tyre as well. So I've been told by a tyre manufacturer. So get yourself a spare for £100. It's so worth it. You get a jack with it as well. You can jack it up, do it all properly. Now, as I said, if I can get this in, then we go, you know what? It's worth keeping, and it was worth its, well, look, I mean, it's not going to go in. So you've now got to that problem again. Let's pop that back down. You can either do that, and then, well, even that is going to be difficult because it's so tight. Look, so you're going to have to just throw it away, or basically leave it in the garage or at home somewhere. What was the point in the first place? Because the versatility of the car is compromised by your parcel shelf. Now, I'm sorry, anybody who writes in and tells me, oh, but it's really important, AJ, because people can look in the back and they might steal things. get a life, will you? No one's going to steal anything out the back here. If you put an old bike in here, they can't even see anyway, you know? Makes no difference. Completely useless, waste of money. In actual fact, I bet that cost 100 quid. You get where I'm going with this? You get your free, then they could give us a space saver without charging us an extra 100 quid. There you go. 392 litres of boot space. It's versatile. At the end of the day, you've got a 60-40 split over here as well. You can actually reach it from this side, so you can pop them down quite easily. All you've got to do is just slide over, look at that. And there you go. I mean, that's amazing space for basically a little hatch. And at the end of the day, I know this car is an SUV, a little compact SUV, but I think that is incredible. Well done, VW. Here in the back of the T Roc-R, it's pretty much a T Roc, because that's exactly what you've got in here. The only difference is you get a slightly different finish on your seats. The rest of it is identical. The finish on these seats is quite nice, the one that comes as the standard, because you can upgrade to a full Napa leather finish on this car for an extra £2,460. But to be honest, I think I'd settle with this. It's very spillage friendly as well. So if you've got a couple of kids in the back here, drop an ice cream or some, you know, fizzy drink goes over it, I think the split leather and material is going to wipe clean very, very easily. You don't get independent heating in the back, but you do get independent air vent, so to speak. So you can sort of manipulate that up and down and turn it on and off. But I would have liked to have seen independent heating in the back. This is the top of the range car. I think it warrants that. You get a couple of USB-Cs for charging down there. That's rather handy. And the transmission tunnel is very, very high as well, and that makes climbing over a little bit awkward. However, I think when we check in a minute how good it is for a third passenger, it's not as bad as it looks. In the centre here, you've got a nice armrest, which doubles up as a double cup holder as well. One thing I do like, you've noticed I've just pulled these out. I haven't broken anything, because initially when we did this, started having a look in the back here, I actually thought I'd broken these. But it's very clever, because if you imagine that, you know, nowadays we've got all different size cans and cups. You've got your extra large cappuccino, and then you've got your small, you know, frappuccinos, and then you've got your energy drinks and things like that. You can actually manipulate this according to the size of your cup. I think that is a really cool little thing, and it's ever so easy to use as well, and it works first time. Excellent. There is one thing behind here that's hiding, and I really want to show you because it is kind of cool. Here in the UK, we call that the B&Q hatch, and the reason I call it the B&Q hatch is because if you're a resident of the UK, you know exactly what I'm talking about. B&Q is our biggest DIY store chain in the UK, and every Saturday most men like to pop down there, if you get my drift, and this car is ideal for wood. We also get my drift there. When I mean ideal for wood, you can get long pieces of wood through here. How perfect is that? And you can still accommodate the kids as well. So keeping other half happy, take two kids down, buy them said ice creams that we mentioned earlier, and pop into the DIY store, get yourself some wood. Now let's reenact that in the European version. Okay, and in here today I'm going to show you exactly where we keep our coffee and our tea. Perfect, it's lovely, and you can change these over to any size cup that you want. Aha, I forget, we have the ski hatch in here. Check it out, you can get your skis in here, but I don't think you will get two snowboards in here, only the one. There you go. That's the difference, that's where I'm going. So either one of those you can watch and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Either way, it's a nice little hatch to put anything long through. That's where I'm going. Okay, Isofix points. Naturally, it comes with Isofix points. Why wouldn't it? These are the pulley-outy ones. I don't like these. I think they're dangerous. You've got dogs in the back here or young children. Look, chewable. Dangerous. Swallow. Kill. That's what, yeah, just don't like them. I prefer them either on the springy bits that pop up and down, or just don't have them at all. A lot of manufacturers don't even bother with these anymore. You're going to lose them if you've got one of these on lease, and you're going to end up having to pay for another set of these. I bet they aren't cheap either. So yeah, that's not a good thing, but they do pop in and out quite easily. You've got recessed seat belts in here, and that leads me nicely on to back to where we're going to try our third passenger in the middle there. So let's have a look, see whether it would be someone that you could get in here for. I tell you what, it's actually really spongy. It's quite nice. And you've got a good view out. Yeah, I've got to be honest with you. You could definitely get 3 adults across there. This has actually now lent itself into the perfect car for work as well, because you know, you drop the kids off at school, you head into the office, then come lunchtime you want to take Jessica and Christina out for lunch from PR. and then you want to, get your manager to drive you back because you've had one or two sherbets too many, and you want to sit in the back with the girls, it's absolutely perfect, isn't it? Look at that, check it out. There you go. So it has many facets to this car. It's not just a family car, if you get my drift. Right, so let's check out up front. First thing you're going to notice, it's keyless entry and keyless ignition, which is really nice. Nice little place to keep the key, just down there in the centre, perfect. And that's where we might as well start with this car. We'll start with the centre section here, because it is very similar to a standard T-Roc. However, we're going to go through the whole bits and pieces, because if you're buying a T Roc-R, you don't necessarily want to watch the T-Roc video. But if you do, hey, he says, with a nice little link to that, just click up there now and you can watch a standard T-Roc review, because I really like that car and our review is up there. There you go. Cubby, tiny, just about get your hand in there. It's probably good enough to put your key in there if you wanted, but there is a place to keep your key there. You've got double cup holder, different sizes as well, and there's a bit in the middle for your energy drinks, in case you like the odd energy drink. Linny said the name of one there. Ooh, that would have been naughty, wouldn't it? You've got your electronic handbrake here, and you've got an auto hold button as well down here. Again, very handy. Now, this part here is your dynamic chassis control. It's an extra £985, but what it does do, it gives you different modes. So I think we'll go into that when we get it out on the road, because it's more sort of better for me to talk about it when we're out on the road. 7-speed DSG gearbox, you know about that. We talked about that when we were under the bonnet there. Another thing you get is a starter button. There you go, you've got a nice little stop-start button over there. You've got a 12-volt adapter here, just in front. Then you've got a double USB-C for doing all your charging. It comes with an adapter. That's the only thing I can describe it. Because at the moment, not a lot of us have got the USB-Cs, but eventually we all will. In the meantime, you get an adapter from VW. If you don't really want to use that, you can pay extra and get yourself a wireless charging pad down here. So you can shove your phone in there. I haven't got my phone on me at the moment, but you can shove it in there and it'll charge it up for you. But it is extra. I would have thought top of the range, they would have included that. Another couple of bits and pieces that are extra on this car, and we're going to mention it. First up is this amazing sunroof. Now, I do think it's a panoramic sunroof. £1,155. Got to get your figures right, AJ. £1,155. I think it's worth every penny, because it's been beautiful here in the UK the last few weeks. I've had this roof open. It's really, really nice. Definitely worth looking at, definitely worth investing in my opinion. Extras I don't think you should be paying for. There's a good one. First up, this car comes with front and rear beepers for when you're parking and manoeuvring the car. Comes as standard, it's included in the price. However, if you want a reverse camera, let me show you reverse camera. There you go, pops up there now. £280 extra. That's a lot of money for that, I think. I think that should be included. If you're spending money on this car, the amount of money that this car costs, for a reverse camera for 280 quid. Sat nav, extra on this car, doesn't come as standard. It's an extra £645. Why would I want it in the first place? Because the car comes with standard Android Mirror and Apple Play, and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity and all that. So you might as well use your map straight off your phone. Why would I want to pay an extra £645 for a sat nav system? Don't get it. Why would I even want to be charged for it? Don't get that either. So there you go. They're my niggles. The rest of it, love it. Check out the cluster on this car. And it's stunning. I mean, that is beautiful. And I love the TFT touchscreen. A little bit laggy, just a little bit laggy. I have noticed when you push on something, look, it takes just a few seconds to actually get into it, but it's there. It's just a bit slow. But apart from that, I really like it. It's a little bit high as well, I've noticed that. So when you're sitting low in this car, if you really want to be driving this car properly, it does tend to be quite high, so you tend to be looking up or over it, and it gets quite a lot of glare as well from the windows. Again, they're little niggly bits. Another thing which I am missing, I love a knob. You know I love a knob, guys, if you watch me on a regular basis. And what I mean by that is, look, there's two knobs here. Perfect. Get in the car, some idiots left the sounds on really loud, so instant you can just turn it like that. Your knob turns it off. Look, no matter if I've got gloves on, whether I've got wet hands, simple, turn it off, it's quiet. Or if I want to change the tracks, I can do it on here as well. Or change the radio station. I get in, someone's left radio station I don't like, I'll just clip it over like that, get rid of it. Gloves or wet hands, perfect. Anything else is going to get all smeary, or I'm going to have to take my gloves off. Likewise, great, I've got separate heating controls. Great, I have air conditioning, but no knobs. Everything is like slide controls. If it's going to look terrible after a few months. Get in here, wet hands, greasy hands. Already we've noticed, just over 24 hours of filming and stuff that we're doing, we have to keep cleaning the screen. It's terrible because of the fingerprints and everything. Not very nice. And I just miss, even if we just had a couple of knobs on there to change the temperature, would be really, really nice, guys. Okay. Steering wheel time. Lovely leather sports steering wheel. It's got a nice little shape at the bottom here. You get your R badge on here as well. You've got your paddles, your flappy paddles at the back. You've got your wiper stalk over here, pretty standard. You've got rain sensing wipers on this car as well, standard. Left hand side, auto dip beam on this car. So if you push that forward for your full beam, then it will come up here blue and then it will go white, meaning that you've got full beam and it will auto detect if there's a car coming. Really lovely headlights on this car, LEDs as we know, comes as standard again. So, you know, you're paying for all these bits, but it's nice to have. I really like that. Left hand side of the wheel here, it's a slight mix up here in my opinion again. I know I'm being very opinionated here, but I just think, you know, certain little things like media controls, keep to one side or the other. Don't split them because it makes your brain have to work twice as hard. Okay, so I've got volume control left-hand side, whereas track change or radio change, station change, right-hand side. So left-hand side volume, right-hand side. Keep it all together. It's easy then. You can change your actual visual in the centre section of your cluster there by moving left and right on there. You've got a change in the view as well. You've got a view button. Another thing this car comes with, I really love, heated steering wheel. Oh, I love that in the winter. So you've got a heated steering wheel over there. Just push that little button. Few minutes, you've got a nice warm steering wheel. And to the top there, you've got your Ask VW button. Basically, Ask VW button, same as Siri or Alexa. You know what to do. You just ask it something and it tells you what it thinks it can do. And then left hand, obviously on the left hand side here, you've got your cruise control, which comes standard with. You've got your distance control, lane keeper, and all that is all your setup over there. I'm going to talk safety aids and how to use that when we get out on the road. Again, my only bugbear about this is they're all haptics. Everything's haptics. I have noticed when I'm driving, every now and then, I have caught one of these and suddenly the volume goes up. Or I go over here and the station changes. It just gets a little bit niggly, if you know what I'm talking about. So I think they were little things that I would definitely, you know, perhaps change if I was on this car. Down here you've got aluminium pedals, really nice little touchy finish, like that as well. We've got our heated front seats, again, included, like that, nice. Glove box, let's have a look, bit of piano black everywhere, lots of shiny stuff, nice but could scratch at the end of the day. And then, my biggest bugbear of the whole of this car, this. Now you see how much this, look at it, look at all the animals involved in creating this. The size of your owner's handbook, ready? Look how many pages, how much do you think that costs to produce? I am telling you now, if you didn't produce these, we don't need these because your owner's handbook can be incorporated into your onboard computer. Or if you need to know how to change a fuse, oh my God, you know, such a terrible thing, go online and ask someone, a YouTuber, or just type online, how do I change a fuse on a T Roc-R? Pretty simple. You don't need a book with all those pages in it. That would mean perhaps we wouldn't have to pay extra for the sat-nav, we wouldn't have to pay extra for the camera, and so on and so on and so on. The spare wheel and things like that. You know where I'm going with this. And look how much room it takes up. That huge book and all that packaging, waste of space. So, enough of me waffling. It is now time to get this car out on the road. Let's go talk safety aids. Let's go talk economy. Oh yes, because this car has a reasonable economy, would you believe? And let's just see how much fun the T-Roc-R is to drive. When you get out on the road in the T-Roc, it drives just superbly. I've got to say that. I've currently got it set in the comfort mode, which is one of the modes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. However, in the meantime, I just want to talk about the safety aspect of this car. First up, you will notice the brakes on this car are simply superb. They are excellent. Almost to the point where, you know, you have to be a little bit careful you don't over brake. So the actual feel of the car, it's kind of feels a little top heavy. It feels a lot bigger than a Golf as well, obviously, but at the same time it feels very stable. Just feels a little top heavy in my opinion. I love the fact you've got these big mirrors on the side. They give you loads of vision down the side there. Unfortunately with this car it doesn't have the blind spot mirrors. for your, for your blind spot down the side, which is a shame because I think that would have just finished off on the safety aids. But you do get things as standard like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, lane departure. You've got distance control as well, which is all worked on the steering wheel on the left-hand side here. You get sign recognition, which I've just noticed has just come up, giving me the speeds around these B roads as much as, even if you're in an area where you do know, it's still very handy for that to pop up and show you. You get standard the beepers, we mentioned that, so you've got your parking, you've got the cross traffic alert system built into this as well, so if you're reversing out of a parking space it will detect cars coming either way. You can upgrade to the camera, which I do suggest. It's definitely worth spending that extra £280 on the 360 camera. I think it's well worth it. It's just a shame it's not included, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. But all in, when you're driving this car, you're going to feel pretty safe. It's got an NCAP 5 rating at the end of the day. It's just a general good, comfortable family car. And then the fun starts. Let's talk modes. So one thing you get with the T-Roc-R are a number of different driving modes, and the mode button itself is down here in the centre, just behind the gear shift. It's housed, well I say housed, it's within a larger knob that I'll talk about in a minute. But the mode button down there, just push it once and your modes will come up on the screen there. And I've left it in eco mode, so we'll start in eco mode. Eco, obviously, as it says on the tin, it's the most best for economy. And to tell you the truth, the car is quite wallowy, it's very slow to pick up, but it's doing its job, it's doing its eco bit. Now let's check what we're actually getting. So I'm going to go to the overview here on the trip computer, there we go, and I'll just push OK like that, and it will comes up with the actual miles we're getting per gallon. Average at the moment, nearly 31 to the gallon. That's pretty good considering we are driving around on B roads at the moment, and I guarantee you if you're out on a motorway in the cruise control or whatever, sitting at 70 miles an hour for a couple of hours, I reckon you're going to be well over 35, possibly getting up into almost up to the late 30s, early 40s. That's exceptional for a 2-litre turbo engine. I'm quite surprised at that. So that's your eco mode. If you push the button again, you can then go into comfort mode. Now this one I suggest, if you're doing a motorway drive, it's a really good one to have. It slightly changes the suspension. It doesn't do much with the acceleration or the steering or anything like that, but it does definitely change the suspension and make it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit less bumpy, so to speak. You then go into normal mode. Now that's one, if you're not too worried about the economy, it's not going to be that much different between the eco mode and the normal mode, but normal mode will give you a general everyday driving sort of setup on this car. So it's good for running down the shops, picking the kids up from school. It's got the comfort attached to it. At the same time, you've probably got a decent bit of eco going on there as well. If you push it again, you go into race mode. Now I like race mode. Now this particular car has got the upgraded Akrapovic exhaust, and I've got to say it really sounds lovely on this car. It's very, very nice. Whether I'd spend an extra £3,500 odd pounds for one, I don't know, to be honest with you. But I think if you're going to buy one of these, you might as well go the whole hog at the end of the day. So you're in race mode. You can now go into paddles. If you want to go into manual sport mode in the gearbox, just click back down on your gear selector like that. You then go into sport mode, and you can then go paddles and go sport manual. And then see, it picks up really nicely. It sounds absolutely gorgeous. But what you will know is the suspension's tightened up, the steering's changed slightly, it feels a little bit heavier, and everything starts to react a lot quicker. So you're getting more bang for your buck with your throttle as well. And then finally, if you've had enough playing around with that, let's put it back into manual. There we go. It's back into normal drive mode. And then you can go into individual mode. Individual mode, you can actually set this up yourself. It says change at the top there. If you just push that, you can change the drive settings, the steering settings. You can have everything set up, even air conditioning. You can have it all set up the way you like it, the way you like to drive it on a day-to-day basis. We won't bother changing any of that. Now, I did say that the mode button is housed or surrounded by a much larger knob. And the larger knob on the outside, you'll see it sitting in what looks like a motorway sign, and that means that's the general driving day-to-day driving. If you turn it to the left, it's got a little snowflake and you go into snow mode. Oh yes, this car has all-wheel drive, so you will have snow mode. If you go back and then cross over again, you will then go into auto driving mode off-road. So it will now sense what type of road surface that you are driving on, and it will adjust the car accordingly, which again is absolutely incredible. And if you really want to change all of that, you can by going into the next setting, turn it to the right, and now you can actually change your expert driving profile, off-road driving profile. It is simply stunning, this car, with all these extra bits. I'm going to put it back into the normal drive mode because it takes it out of all-wheel drive mode, otherwise it languishes a little bit. But at the end of the day, what a versatile car. You've got hot hatch, you've got SUV, and at the same time, you've got an off-roader. Doesn't get much better. All T-Rocs, including T-Roc-Rs, benefit from a decent Volkswagen warranty. It's 3 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first. And during that period, if you decide you want to sell the car, it's not a problem to transfer over those warranties or any of the warranties into the new owner's name. Additionally, you can increase your warranty if you want to keep the car longer than 3 years. And I suggest you chat to your Volkswagen salesperson when you go down for your test drive, and they will explain all the ins and outs and any cost implications in order to do that. You do get a 12-year anti-perforation warranty, which is very nice. That's all your rusty bits and pieces underneath that you can't see. Additionally, you get a 3-year paint warranty as well, so your paint's all covered. And then you'll get 3 years roadside assistance, accident emergency assistance. That's all included in the warranty itself. So it's quite, it's quite a reasonable warranty all round that's going to cover you in the unfortunate event you might need to claim on something. But I doubt that's going to happen because this car is so well built. There you have it, guys. That was the T-Roc-R. What a car, absolutely amazing. This car reminds me of a certain animal, a chameleon. And the reason I'm calling it the chameleon is because it's so adaptable to its surroundings. It can change in the instant of a click of a finger, if you get my drift. Because 1 minute you can be taking the kids to school in this, or popping down to the shops to pick up some shopping. And the next minute you can be out on the track, on a track day, absolutely blatting it around, enjoying yourself in the surety and knowing that you're going to have so much fun and it's completely safe at the same time. However, in my opinion, my humble opinion, would I spend an extra £5,000 more than the top of the range T-Roc, the R-Line for example, when that comes fully loaded with everything I would want from a T-Roc? The answer is quite simple. There's an expression we have here in the UK and it's called keeping up with the Joneses. And what I mean by that is, if you want to be the coolest mum or the coolest dad in town when you drop your kids off, you buy a T-Roc-R. It's as simple as that. You've been watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. I hope you've enjoyed our little review of the T-Roc-R. I must admit, I've had a tremendous time over the last week actually getting to play with this toy and really starting to understand why I would spend that extra money, because it is something a little bit special. At the end of the day though, thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. If you could give us a big thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it, because we spend a lot of time putting these videos together. And in order for us, our bosses and our sponsors, to appreciate all the work we've done, when you thumbs up, that means you like what we did, and that lets them know we've done a good job. So I'd really appreciate that. Don't forget, if you want to subscribe, there is a subscribe button down there. You can do that because we don't just do, as you know, you saw the video at the beginning of this, the start of this video, we don't just do car reviews. We do all sorts of stuff because we're part of a much bigger operation. I'll explain that in a second. Leave the bell sign unchecked. You get regular updates on all the different things that we do. And I'm sure there'll be something there that you might find of interest, not just new cars that you're thinking of buying. So, as I mentioned, we are part of a much bigger organisation. We're part of the Player. Now, the Player is an international men's bookazine. Wow, he says. An international men's bookazine. Basically, a bookazine is a magazine with a hardback cover. So it comes out more frequently than a book. It's not a one-off book. In actual fact, we produce the Player 3 times a year. absolutely phenomenal. It's a brilliant book, bookazine, let's get the right word. It's got a massive hardback cover on it, and it's got 220 pages of everything us guys love. I mean, there's cars in there like this, there's sports cars in there, there's all sorts of bits and pieces like jet skis, there's submarines, there's interviews, there's food, there's golf, there's holidays. I could keep going on waxing lyrical about the Player. But if you want to get your hands on a copy, it's completely free of charge because you watch me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. And all you got to do to get the online version, which is exactly the same as the big book. I can't send you out the big book. They're 100 UK pounds each. That's how valuable they are. I mean, you can buy one if you want. You just go online and you order one. It's quite simple. But if you want the free version, that's the online version. It's really cool as well. You can flick it with your finger with the pages. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. Or if you've got a mouse, you can move it, or you can save it, or you can watch it online. It's so versatile. It's unbelievable. Head over to www.theplayer.co.uk. It's coming up down there now. I'm going to leave it up for a few seconds so you can memorise it. Go to the top of that web page. It says register. Now listen, I don't need to know the inside and out of a duck's bottom. All I need is your name and your email. That's it. Simply put that in. You can download all the issues, and every time a new issue comes out, it will notify you, and you can just download that, or you can just view them all online. Simple as, completely free of charge, all on me because you watch me on the Player YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next week with something different, equally as exciting as the T Roc-R. I'll see you then.